A very good morning, my friends. Myself, Dr. Deepak Singh from RAW and on the Poetry Academy of Arts, allpoetry.com. Again, back after a long time, I'm interacting in form of video to you all. Though sometimes it is necessary to bring its own caution in flow so that I could bring out the grid reference of the yearlog that is getting into the assert of terms in the formation of the poetry and academias. My friend, first of all, I want to make it clear the very necessary facts that the artist, when on its art, it is in the form of a terminology that resembles fiction too often. It has nothing to do with the facts and the realm which is found on an irrational real term. It is a completely a fiction anecdote. And in by chance, if anything is getting on the assembly or in the form of the peripheral resemblance with the reality factors that mere could be termed as a coincidence to be acting on. Because an artist has got his own reference frame to act on to bring out the artistic procedures. And in by way and in the same continuum, he acts on that track. It is nothing to get emulated or imbibed on the facts of the art and get on reacted on the facts. My friend, today I will be discussing a very unique poetry that that was crafted very nicely. I enjoyed too much in writing this poetry, particularly. It has a very unique approach of understanding and contemplation to bring it out. The poetry topic is the cocooning the mind vectors. Oh, my dear. Again, mind. You must all have been too much fascinated of the fact of the mind. Yes, my friend, indeed, the mind, the unit, integration of all the impedance that imbibe to our brain facilities to act on, that is the mind. My friend, cocooning the mind vector, you know, my friend, the metamorphosis of butterfly, that how the stages are propounded there, how the stages are made on over there, and at the time it comes where the butterfly has to go on a stage of cocooning. That means it totally binds. It binds and binds its flux entities in such a dense, condensed manner that it imbibes out to be in a core. It is a stage of formation of butterfly evolution, that could be said, the stage evolution of a butterfly. In the same way, the evolution of the mind to have got its own aspects and own related virtues to act on, and therefore the cocooning of the mind vectors. This is the poetry that I want to make on a discussion here. The cocooning of mind vectors, the methods to imbibe the indices of thoughts to chip condensed. The very first line itself rims out indices of thought. Now, indices in the way, in mathematical terms, what we know the indices. In mathematical terms, we know that indices is something that we bring on the measurement of subsequent orders in actions. The subsequent orders, the exponent orders that are cumulated in the form, and that accumulation has got its own chip to be get condensed. That condensation generally took place in our mind by its vector. It binds on, it weaves on, it rooms on. And the institutional, the second line of this reader is to be like that, and the institutional probabilities of the facts to definite assert. Indeed, when the spinning or when the weaving and when the looming of those flux of mind vectors are in turn to us guide the core cognition of our brain activities, in the same way there is an intuitional probability acting on that is not fixed on, that is not direct, but it is alternating continuously or to the curvature of knowing, the sowing seeds of ascents. And that way, the centrifugal ascents takes on to the brain logarithm of neuronal architecture to act on. And the third line, as it is said, that out to that curvature, and thus the curvature, yet the curvature is resembling the fornix. The curvature is said ought to be that the brain that is being covered up by the mind cocooning vectors. That the metaphor of reciprocal vibes to imbibe the mind grind. And that's way the circuital links of the neurons assess out to bring out an inertial metaphor of feelings of by the terms of impedance or exchange of the ion factors, that the metaphor of reciprocal vibes to imbibe the mind grand. And this way, the virtue of is to be the mind that it is in the form, enabling in duality factor with the brain to act on totally, is fold to be unfold on in the brain. So that was the first four lines of the cocooning of mind vectors. I hope you're all enjoying the poetries over there and the writings that is uh, been made on that in such a way that you would be enjoying. Though it is very tough to make it out the core meaning, but you just tried it in poetical terms, so you have to decode it out with little extra dense virtues to be follow on. But I think you all be enjoying in the that terms. Uh, I try to write this poetry in that way, but though the flux voltages are grading on and on, it is necessary to write in more condensed form. Isn't poetry, my friend? It's a modern poetry. It is a poetry that is totally soaked up within scientific virtues. You cannot say that a poetry is in the realm of an artistic facts. No, it is an factual artistic, but even the science too even goes on to bring on a metaphor induction to act on. Science has got all the realms, though it has got an equational terms to act on, so it has got its metaphorical realms to play on. With that metaphorical realms to play on with the scientific approach, a art of poetry is crafted in such a way that there is a merging, there's a blending of science and art in such a way that it becomes a core understanding. It becomes a modulus of contemplation of a subject of education, not even in a particular stream or in a, not even a particular subject, but it is a modulus term of an education. I hope you're all enjoying it. Thank you very much, my friend. Namaskar.